Dramatic sideways entrance. What makes a king, ladies and gentlemen? Some kings are gods, some are demons, some are fairies. But no, none of those people are real kings. Real kings wear straw hats and are made of rubber. Sometimes bricks, but mostly rubber. Okay, so today's video, we're going to be talking about the phrase Kaizoku Oni Ore wa Nara, or I'm going to be the Pirate King. If you are at all familiar with One Piece, in that if you have at least watched one episode of the anime, you should be very familiar with this phrase. It is basically Luffy's catchphrase. Now, something important to mention about that, because last chapter, chapter 995, the finale of it, I mean, it was pretty shocking. I mean, spoiler alert, I'll put it in the title, of course. It was pretty shocking for Otama to come out of nowhere with a giant dog and then just bite down on Ulti. That was pretty shocking. But the high point of that chapter was definitely Ulti having Nami dead to rights, about to deliver the finishing death blow, and, saying, I'll spare you, I'll let you go if you just admit Luffy will not be the Pirate King. If you say he will not succeed, then I might let you live. And even with Usopp beaten up, and he's like, it's okay to lie sometimes, Nami, and even Nami realizing that this is it, this is the end, she still does not give up on Luffy and his dream, and if it's like her last words on this earth, she says, Luffy's definitely going to be the Pirate King. Even with, like, her tears and snot coming out of her face, like, she knows this is it, but she's still like, he's definitely gonna be the Pirate King! Bring it on! I think it's important to bring up how important that phrase is, especially in the New World, especially when they're in a Yonko territory, because I feel like we as the fans, we hear that line so many times in this story. Like, literally, it is the last thing that is said in every single episode of One Piece. There's the episode preview, and then at the very end of the preview, Luffy always says it. Kaizoku Oni, Ore wa Nara! Kaizoku Oni, Ore wa Nara! I'm gonna be king of the pirates! I'm gonna be king of the pirates! It's a catchphrase, Luffy is an anime character. They need to have catchphrases. Naruto's is, believe it, or Dataibayo! Ichigo's is... Does Ichigo have a Bankai Getsuga Tensho? That's basically their catchphrases, okay? And I feel like, as a fan base, if you hear that enough times, it kind of blends into the background. You know what I mean? Like, it loses a little bit of its effect just of how often you hear it. And of course, I'm here making videos. Everyone else that talks about One Piece, they're gonna say it at some point too. So you're just always around it. You're always hearing that phrase, okay? But I want you to try to take it away from, like, the meta for a moment and try to look at that phrase the way it's spoken in the actual context of the story of One Piece, okay? Because that is not something that the people of One Piece hear all the time. Like, that's not something that people just always say, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. Like, this is something that has a little bit more weight to it in this universe. And the first time I read chapter 995, like, I'm going through it, I kind of read it and I was, like, really, like, impressed by Nami's act of bravery there at the very end. But rereading it, I'm like, you know what? It's actually way more of a big deal than just Ulti being really pissed at Luffy saying it. It's like, your captain, that Straw Hat, he said he was going to be king of the pirates. That really annoyed me because my captain, Kaido's going to be king of the pirates. Say that he was wrong. It's more to it than just her being upset. That's really a big thing that Luffy has been declaring, okay? First off, let's just, like, look at it from the context of this is a world that's controlled by the world government and the Marines, and declaring yourself king of the pirates is basically like saying, I'm gonna be the best damn criminal that's ever existed in this entire world! Like, I'm gonna be the greatest pirate ever! All those people that the world government is, like, attacking and sending the Marines after, that are, like, the objective enemies of justice? Yeah, I'm gonna be the greatest one of those! So, first off, you gotta be careful of how you say that. That just adds more power to it in general. Luffy was a little kid when he started spouting that off, after he met Shanks. He was saying that to Garp and to Don and everybody, and, Ace and Sabo and everybody he ran across in the Gray Terminal in the Goa Kingdom, he would be saying, I'm gonna be king of the pirates someday. And, it's bad enough if, like, a little kid is saying it, because even in the, look at all the world nobles and how they act in One Piece. If a world noble was walking down the street, and, they heard a little kid being like, Mommy, I I'm gonna be king of the pirates someday when I grow up. I don't think that world noble would have any compunctions about just like, what did you say, brat? You know, like, look what happened with Jalmac when Jalmac saw that, like, Sabo's little boat in the water. Like, oh, it defies my godly arrival for this tiny little fishing boat to be there. Click, bam! It's just like, oh, you know, kids sometimes they want to be astronauts, kings of the pirates, whatever, right? But Luffy kept on saying that, and at age 17, when he heads out to sea, he's still spouting that off, and he's not even afraid of saying it. That's the thing. Like, he'll go to an island, he'll be in the middle of a marine base, and he'll still say, oh, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Monkey D. Luffy, I'm gonna be king of the pirates. And at that point, everyone's gonna be looking at you like, do you have a death wish, kid? You know, like, you're going around saying that stuff. You gotta be really careful, alright? Goldie Roger, in the eyes of most civilians, was not a good person. He was a pirate. King of, you know? So, you know, saying that you want to follow in his footsteps, look at all the crazy stuff the Marines did. You know, the Marines went to such lengths to make sure that Roger's bloodline just ended right there with him. All the stuff they did, right? They scoured the world to find any, you know, relatives immediately, and they just eliminated them, right? That's what the Marines did. So you don't mess with that. Even if you're like a civilian that's maybe like a little bit interested in, you know, like pirate life, and you'd be like, well, I'm not going to be a pirate myself, but Goldie Roger was a really epic man and he had an awesome mustache. You would probably keep that stuff to yourself, lest the Marines here or the world government or one of the cipher poles is like, cipher pole 3 here, there's this guy in the South Blue that seems to really like Goldie Roger. You know, he's just like, okay, well, let's look into that. You know, got to be really, really careful how you say that stuff. So just at the baseline, Luffy going around and saying that phrase as much as he does is just testament to his, like, dedication to this. To us, it's kind of like, oh, that's his fictional character catchphrase, right? But to him, it's way more than that. It's way more than that to the crew. It's way more than that to the rest of the world. That's not just like, oh, Luffy's saying his catchphrase again. Oh, you know, that's just how it goes. Wubba lubba dub dub, that's just Luffy. No, it's like every time he says it, it is like basically laying down the gauntlet and having everybody just like stop and look and just be like, what? He's gonna be king of the pirates. He's declaring himself he's going to be king of the pirates. Holy crap, you know, and he's saying it as much as he does. You know, I wouldn't even put it past the world government when they were coming up with Luffy's bounties over the years. Obviously, when they're coming up with bounties, they're going to look at, like, threat level, how large Luffy's crew is, who's on his crew, you know, all the accomplishments he's done, you know, defeated all these other pirates and warlords, and, you know, he's the son of Dragon. All this stuff goes into him becoming, you know, having a bounty of 1.5 billion right now, on top of having the Will of D as well. But also, him going around and announcing that, like, the world government knows, like, what is Straw Hat Luffy's goal? Well, from what we hear, we've gathered intel, we've heard word through the grapevine, he wants to be king of the pirates. And just, like, I can imagine whoever's coming up with the bounties is like, oh, well, he seems really dedicated to that. You know, that's not just something he's throwing out there as a joke or whatever. He seems to really want to become king of the pirates, and he's going full throttle toward that goal. So, yeah, they might have even factored that in when coming up with his bounty. Like, this kid needs to be stopped, right? Let's use, like, let's say you said you're just some random person, and you just declared to the entire world, or whoever's around you in your little town, you declared, I'm gonna be the greatest guitarist of all time. Obviously not the same thing as King of the Pirates, but I'm trying to do a parallel thing here. Be like, I'm gonna be the greatest guitar player of all time. There's probably a lot of people that would look at you and think that you were just telling a joke, like, haha, that's funny. Or they would look at you and think that you're just delusional. Like, you, like, random person from, you know, a town out in the middle of nowhere, you're gonna be the greatest guitarist of all time. Not just a good guitarist, not just a great guitarist, the best guitarist. Like, you're going around telling people, it's like, yeah, Eric Clapton, Jimi Hendrix, freaking, Chuck Berry. I just watched, Back to the Future last night, so Johnny B. Good is kind of in my, mind right now. You know, Frank Zappa, Eddie Van Halen, you know, you're gonna be better than all of them. You're gonna be better than every single, all the greatest guitarists you ever think of, you're gonna be better than that. You know, you go around declaring that, and you declare that a lot, you know, people are out there gonna think, alright, you're just joking around, or, you know, you're just delusional. But there's also probably gonna be a select group of people that really like are into famous guitarists and stuff. It's like, hey, I'm a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, and you're not going to be the next Jimi Hendrix. Or there's no, it's like an insult to even say so. You know, like it's an insult to even attempt to do that, because I know you might have your own favorite, you know, guitarists and stuff, but by and large, Jimi Hendrix is considered, you know, the greatest guitar player of all time, or at least one of, like, he's like in the top 3, like easy. He's Jimi freaking Hendrix, right? So some people might actually be kind of like insulted for you to declare that, like, you know, you're not going to ever be better than Jimi Hendrix. You shouldn't even try to be, because he's like on the pedestal. He's way up there, right? He's like, I don't care, I'm gonna do it. So that's kind of the attitude we're getting into when Luffy starts getting into the Grand Line, and beyond just the first half of the Grand Line in Paradise, he starts getting into the New World. This is where the Yonko come to play. This is where Blackbeard and where Whitebeard used to rule, and Kaido and Big Mom and Shanks, of course. Shanks isn't really interested in becoming the king of the pirates. Whitebeard wasn't really either. But right now, of course, we're in Wano, we're in Onigashima, so this is Kaido's turf, and Big Mom's there, and also Blackbeard as well. You know, they all want to be kings of the pirates, okay? So they're all like trying to do this thing, and then it's like, new challenger has arrived! You know, pirates are always coming down the pipeline. Pirates are always in the Grand Line and coming into the New World, but the audacity of it, that's the thing. I think it wasn't even one of those things that Luffy said to Big Mom at Fishman Island when Big Mom is on the Dendemushi and she's talking about, you know, where's my candy? And Luffy just grabs it and just like, I ate all your candy! By the way, I'm gonna be king of the pirates! Click! That was like, you know, declaring war, essentially, on the entirety of the Yonko and the New World and all the pirates of the New World that are all vying for it. That was Luffy just opening up the salvos to that. Like, I'm gonna be the king. Click. Like, that isn't funny. They're not going to look at that as being funny, or they might look at it being a little delusional, but more than anything, they're going to be, like, insulted. Just like Ulti was insulted that Luffy would say it, because they're so confident that Kaido is going to be the next king. Just like how Big Mom's family would be insulted. It's like, you are claiming to be king of the pirates when Big Mom, our mother, is going to clearly be the king. Once again, the way that it's spoken, Big Mom uses the term king of the pirates, not queen of the pirates, so, like, that's the term, you know, whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's the point. That's the reason Ulti got so pissed. It's like, Kaido has been ruling over this for so long. He's had, like, decades to build up power in Wano and all of the Smile users. Likewise with Big Mom, how long she's, you know, been an emperor, probably longer than Kaido has. You know, they have an empire. They have this reputation. They have seniority, so to speak. And Luffy, the thing that makes it so damn powerful, so damn insulting to every other member of a Yonko crew, is that Luffy just started his adventures 2 years ago. He's got a crew of just hit 10 members, okay? So barely 10 members, and, you know, he's relatively young. He's only 19 years old, and he's making these declarations. It's decorations. He's making these decorations for becoming king. He's got to decorate when he becomes king. You know, it's doing that makes this so much of a big deal than just, like, you know, hearing the phrase a bunch of times in the anime or whatever, or saying it or whatever. I've used the phrase before. Sometimes when I'm, like, about to do something and be like, all right, well, let's do this. Like, okay, all right. One time I was out at a grocery store, right, and I was like gonna just go home and get something at like McDonald's or something, and I'm just like, I don't really feel like cooking, you know, but then I'm walking around the store and I'm like, you know what, there's this chicken parmesan recipe that I've really wanted to try out. It was actually a Gordon Ramsay recipe. Really wanted to try this out, and I see all the recipes and I'm like, yeah, but not today. I was like, but Matt, you always say that. Not today. Oh, it's so much of a pain. You gotta do all this other stuff to make it. It's like the kitchen is a disaster area when it's done. I'm not gonna do this tonight. You're like, no! Do it! Make that chicken parm! And I'm like, fine, I'll be king of the chicken parmesan. Let's do this. I actually said that. I didn't yell it in the store, but I'm like, alright, you know what? King of the chicken parm. Let's do this. I'm a dork. In case you didn't know that, I'm a dork. Okay, but anyway, yeah, so I've said it before. You guys might have said it or may have not have said it before, but you hear it all the time. But it's like, no, when big, none of the other pirates are saying that. That's the big deal. Kid and Law and Apu and Drake and all these other really prominent pirates that are supernovas that are kind of vying to find the One Piece, they're not so bold as to declare it to the entire world. Like, Kid might be seeking the One Piece, and ostensibly if you find the One Piece, you become the king of the pirates, like essentially, but Kid is not going around like, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, ha ha ha! I mean, yeah, maybe every once in a while you'll see a character or hear a character saying the phrase, but it's definitely not as prominent as the way Luffy says it. Like, he says it like the first thing he does when he arrives on, like, any island. He declares it. When he goes up against a strong opponent, doesn't matter if it's a warlord, doesn't matter if it's an admiral, if it's a Yonko, he doesn't care. No matter who he fights, Luffy's gonna declare, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, right? It's actually kind of a viable strategy, because, like, if he walks up, like he even said it kinda to Kaido, when Kaido just, like, Thunder Bugger, like, beat the crap out of him, right? And Kaido didn't even really take it that powerful. He was just like, huh, what kind of king are you gonna be again, stupid kid? Puh! It just, like, Thunder Buggered Luffy into unconsciousness, right? But you imagine a lot of other times, it might distract the opponent. Like, Luffy just boldly walks up to Big Mom, is like, I'm gonna be king of the pirates! Big Mom might be, like, just blinded with rage, and like, mama, you know? Ulti was kind of like that. Ulti was blinded with rage by it, right? So much so that maybe she was distracted long enough for Otama to arrive with Komachiyo, right? Like, she has observation hockey. They're the Toby Ropo, you know they do. So she's holding up Nami, about to deliver the finishing blow, like, say it! Say your captain's gonna fail! And Nami's like, he's gonna be king of the pirates! And Ulti's just like, Rrr! And then she's, like, distracted enough of just sheer white-hot rage. That's when Tama shows up and just glop, bites down on Ulti with Komachiyo, right? Yeah. So it's a viable strategy in combat. Just say it, because if it's like a high enough status, it's gonna make them mad, right? But yeah, now, of course, like, Shanks and Whitebeard, you know, they wouldn't be as intimidated by it. If anything, they might find it as, like, as Shanks especially, if, you know, Luffy's saying it to Shanks, like, if Luffy and Shanks ever get reunited soon, of course, the whole deal with Shanks is they're probably not going to meet again until Luffy becomes king of the pirates. But if Shanks and Luffy ever do meet before that, and Luffy's like, Shanks, I'm still going to do it, I'm still going to be king of the pirates, Shanks would just kind of be like, haha, of course you will, Luffy, I'm rooting for you, we all are, have fun, you know. But still, I don't think they're going to meet again until it actually happens. But yeah, I just felt like it was important to bring that up, you know, to take in, like, the bigger picture of all of this, and how powerful those words are when they're spoken, not only in the One Piece world, but in the Grand Line, in the New World, in the Yonko territory. It is tantamount to be like, that's like the taboo, right? Like, that's the thing you just don't say. You don't waltz into another Yonko's territory and declare that you are going to be the king, not them. Because that is literally an act of all-out war. So it leads to just so much more, like, impact to the story once you understand that, the effect, you know what I mean? But at any rate, yeah. I'm not sure if this video had any points. I tell you what, I'm gonna go listen to some Jimi Hendrix after this, because that got me pumped up. But, yeah, beyond that, relatively short video, probably less than 20 minutes for me, but hope you guys enjoyed. We're gonna be doing another Naruto video, I think, either tomorrow or the day after. It's gonna be a Kasame video, that's coming up, and, yeah, so look forward to that and what I have prepared. Thanks for watching, everybody. Tekking and Barry, signing out. Awkward sideways exit.